A new report from Punchbowl News says that Amazon is looking to avoid the blame for raising prices as a result of President Trump's new tariff.
But I imagine you do when it comes to tariffs.
The decision by Amazon's chief executive to relocate the company's headquarters beyond the borders of the United States marks a pivotal moment, not only for the world's largest online retailer, but also for the evolving landscape of global commerce. This bold move, announced in the wake of sweeping new tariffs imposed by the incoming administration, underscores the fragility of international trade ties when political winds shift overnight. Amazon's sprawling campus in the Pacific Northwest has been thrust into uncertainty, with its future role as a hub for innovation and employment called into question. Employees who once celebrated the company's rapid expansion now find themselves grappling with the possibility of uprooting their lives or seeking new opportunities. The announcement reverberates far beyond the tech sector, as governments and commercial partners scramble to assess the broader economic fallout and recalibrate their strategies for dealing with one of the world's most influential corporations. At the heart of the upheaval lies the newly elected administration's aggressive stance on trade policy. Tariffs, once a tool employed sparingly, have now been wielded with unprecedented force against a broad coalition of America's trading partners. By slapping steep levies on goods imported from key allies and long-standing partners, the administration has sought to bolster domestic manufacturing. Yet the unintended consequence has been a spike in costs for international buyers, eroding the competitive edge that U.S. exporters once enjoyed. As prices soar and logistics chains buckle under the strain of new customs duties, global businesses are forced to weigh the true cost of sourcing from the American economy. For a behemoth like Amazon, whose core competency relies on streamlined international supply networks, the tariffs present an existential threat. The announcement that Amazon CEO will lead the charge in moving the company's base abroad underscores a profound disillusionment with the direction of U.S. economic policy. Although major corporations have long navigated shifting regulatory tides, the scale and speed of these new trade barriers have caught many unprepared. In boardrooms and strategy sessions across Amazon's myriad divisions, executives have been forced to confront a sobering reality. Even the most resilient corporate entity cannot fully insulate itself from the whims of geopolitical strategy. Relocating operations overseas is a drastic step, but in the eyes of Amazon's leadership, it is the only viable path to preserving the company's ability to serve its global customer base at competitive prices. Choosing the destination for Amazon's new headquarters has been a strategic calculus driven by multiple factors. A nation with favorable corporate tax structures, robust technological infrastructure, and a stable political environment became the front-runner almost immediately. Proximity to major manufacturing hubs was another critical criterion, ensuring that the smooth flow of products from factories to fulfillment centers would remain largely uninterrupted. Local labor markets, educational institutions, and quality of life metrics also factored heavily into the decision. The chosen country now stands poised to reap the immense benefits of hosting Amazon's next chapter, from the creation of tens of thousands of high-skilled jobs to the influx of investment in real estate and auxiliary services. The ramifications of Amazon's departure extend well beyond corporate boardrooms and into the broader contours of international economic that has long been synonymous with the tech giant. The impact of Amazon's departure is seismic. Small businesses that once thrived on the patronage of Amazon's workforce now face the specter of declining revenue. Real estate markets, previously buoyed by the influx of highly paid engineers and managers, are bracing for potential downturn. Municipal budgets that benefited from the company's substantial tax contributions must now confront the reality of reduced revenues or seek alternative sources of funding. The ripple effects will be felt across schools, public services, and infrastructure projects that had counted on Amazon's continued presence. On the national stage, policymakers are presented with a stark reminder of the delicate balance between protectionism and competitiveness. The administration's goal of safeguarding American industries through tariffs has collided with the realities of global supply chains and consumer expectations. As Amazon prepares to plant its flag on foreign soil, questions are emerging about the long-term viability of a trade policy that prioritizes short-term political wins over lasting economic partnerships. Critics argue the tariffs have alienated key allies and ceded ground to rival economic blocs eager to fill the void left by a retreating American presence. From an international perspective, Amazon's relocation represents a significant coup for the host country. The arrival of its leadership and operations signals to other multinational corporations that there are credible alternatives to operating within the United States. Governments eager to attract foreign direct investment are expected to intensify their efforts, offering competitive incentive packages, streamlining regulatory processes, and showcasing stable trade relationships. In this way, Amazon's move may mark the beginning of a new era in which nations fiercely compete to host global corporate headquarters, each offering unique blends of financial perks, skilled labor, and infrastructure. As the logistics of relocation begin in earnest, Amazon's legendary fulfillment and distribution system faces one of its most formidable challenges yet. The company's vast network, celebrated for its speed and efficiency, must now be recalibrated to align with new import-export channels. Warehouses will be repurposed, shipping lanes reconfigured, and vendor partnerships renegotiated. For workers in overseas facilities, the announcement has sparked excitement and anticipation. New hires are entering training programs. Local vendors are scaling operations, and regional governments are preparing to welcome the influx of economic activity. However, the transition must be handled with surgical precision to avoid disruptions that could undermine Amazon's reputation for reliability. Internally, company culture is being carefully managed. Amazon, long guided by a core set of leadership principles, is striving to maintain employee morale amid the upheaval. Town halls, Q&A sessions, and personalized outreach are being deployed to ensure that staff feel informed, supported, and valued. Simultaneously, teams are encouraged to view the shift as an opportunity for growth and innovation. Cross-cultural training programs are being implemented to foster mutual understanding among international teams, while remote work policies evolve to accommodate employees who choose to remain in the United States. The broader business community watches with rapt attention as Amazon rolls out its strategy for a seamless transition. For suppliers ranging from electronics to apparel, the realignment of order flows brings both new prospects and daunting challenges. Some stand to benefit from improved access to emerging markets, while others must navigate the complexities of rerouted logistics. Consulting firms and trade experts are already fielding an influx of inquiries from businesses seeking to adapt to the rapidly changing commercial environment, offering guidance on tariff mitigation strategies and alternative sourcing plans. Sourcing and compliance frameworks are being reevaluated as financial markets react to Amazon's landmark relocation announcement. Initially, the company's stock price wavered as investors absorbed the implications of the move, but it soon found firmer footing as details emerged about a carefully phased relocation plan. Analysts have since recalibrated their models to account for anticipated tax benefits, operational efficiencies, and long-term growth potential in the new host country. While some bearish voices warn of potential reputational risks and the danger of alienating U.S. consumers, the prevailing sentiment among leading market observers is that Amazon's bold and decisive action highlights its resilience and adaptability. The human dimension of this transition cannot be overstated. Thousands of employees, many of whom have spent years building their careers in the United States, now face life-altering decisions. Some will choose to relocate with the company, encouraged by generous relocation packages and the promise of new beginnings abroad. Others may opt to remain and pursue new opportunities closer to home. To support all affected employees, Amazon has rolled out a range of programs, including assistance with visa applications, housing searches, and cultural acclimation. Career counseling services are also being offered to those who stay behind, helping ensure their skills remain relevant and valuable in the local job market. As news of the relocation spreads through international media, it is sparking a broader dialogue about the shifting nature of corporate citizenship. In an era where national borders no longer constrain the ambitions of global enterprises, business leaders are rethinking the traditional contract between companies and the societies they inhabit. Amazon's move challenges the notion that corporate success must be tied to a single geographic home base. It prompts a reevaluation of how businesses define their responsibilities to a broad range of stakeholders, including employees, customers, governments, and local communities. The timing of the announcement, shortly after a presidential election that surprised many, underscores the deep and often unpredictable connection between politics and commerce. It stands as a case study in how quickly corporate strategies can be disrupted by political change. Around the globe, boardrooms are taking note, reassessing risk matrices and contingency plans to ensure readiness for sudden regulatory shifts. For governments, the message is clear. Cultivating a stable, predictable, and business-friendly environment is essential to retaining key contributors to economic growth. Amazon's venture into a new jurisdiction is expected to lay the groundwork for significant innovation. Unencumbered by some of the constraints imposed by the current tariff regime, the company is poised to invest more aggressively in advanced logistics technologies, research and development initiatives, and new partnerships. The upcoming headquarters is envisioned as a global center of excellence, drawing talent from across continents and fostering a culture of cross-pollination among diverse teams. Yet even as Amazon embarks on this ambitious new chapter, the story remains unfinished. The relocation will unfold gradually over the coming months and even years as the company works to balance strategic objectives with operational realities. Amazon's relocation presents a complex balancing act between honoring existing commitments to customers and employees and charting a sustainable path forward. In Washington, government leaders will be forced to grapple with the political fallout of what many interpret as a direct rebuke of current domestic policies. The repercussions extend beyond borders. Trade alliances may be reshaped as nations adjust to the evolving landscape of American corporate influence. Globally, the economy is poised to find new equilibriums in the aftermath of one of the most consequential corporate decisions in recent memory. From a perspective of global supply chains, Amazon's move away from the United States signals a dramatic recalibration. Companies that once depended on U.S.-based distribution centers must now reassess their entire logistics strategies. Transitioning to new fulfillment hubs in Europe, Asia, or other fast-growing regions involves more than simply rerouting shipments. It necessitates a complete overhaul of inventory management, demand forecasting, and last-mile delivery systems. In response, software engineers and operations researchers are working swiftly to refine the algorithms that drive Amazon's renowned inventory optimization systems, adapting them to account for extended lead times and the complexities of operating under varied regulatory regimes. Legacy logistics models, long reliant on predictability of U.S. domestic freight, must now incorporate a patchwork of customs inspections, border controls, and fluctuating import duties imposed by different national authorities. Concurrently, Amazon's extensive vendor ecosystem finds itself navigating unfamiliar terrain. Thousands of small and medium-sized businesses that once benefited from shipping into a single tariff-protected market now face more layered and costly distribution frameworks. For manufacturers in Southeast Asia, it may prove more cost-effective to route products through Amazon's new logistical hubs than through U.S. ports, prompting a fundamental reevaluation of manufacturing footprints. Some suppliers may opt to relocate production closer to Amazon's new operations, while others consider nearshoring alternatives to shorten transit times and enhance responsiveness. Supply chain finance will also undergo transformation. Letters of credit, trade financing instruments, and hedging mechanisms must be adjusted to suit diverse banking systems and currency exposures. On the digital front, Amazon's data infrastructure faces significant evolution. Its cloud computing division, previously anchored by sprawling U.S.-based data centers, now contemplate expansion into new geographies. Establishing secure, high-capacity data hubs near emerging customer bases is critical, not only to ensure performance, but also to comply with varying data sovereignty laws. To this end, Amazon's data scientists and security architects are working to safeguard sensitive customer information across jurisdictions, employing robust encryption, localized backups, and carefully negotiated cross-border data transfer agreements aligned with both corporate standards and local legislation. Brick-and-mortar retail partners are also at a crossroads. For years, sectors like groceries, apparel, and consumer electronics have leveraged Amazon's U.S.-centric logistics network to power fast delivery options. Now, collaborative initiatives such as Ship from Store and Amazon Go must adapt to a more globally dispersed framework. Retailers with strong national footprints in the countries hosting Amazon's new headquarters may expect deeper integration with the platform, while those rooted primarily in the U.S. must seek alternative partnerships or develop proprietary logistics systems. This shift could pave the way for the rise of regional e-commerce leaders, as local firms step in to address gaps left by Amazon's partial withdrawal from the American market. Financially, the architecture that underpins Amazon's global operations will need significant reconfiguration. Corporate treasurers must reevaluate foreign exchange risk management as revenue and expenses begin to shift across currencies. The repatriation of profits earned abroad will be governed by the unique tax policies of each jurisdiction, requiring intricate structuring to maintain liquidity while avoiding excessive tax burdens. Financial analysts are actively modeling scenarios to assess the trade-offs between offshore financing and its potential advantages, scrutinizing interest rate differentials and sovereign credit ratings. As Amazon continues to reorient its global footprint, every facet of its operations, from supply chain logistics to data management and financial strategy, must evolve to match the demands of a rapidly changing economic order. Facilities and debt instruments once denominated exclusively in U.S. dollars will now be supplemented by bonds issued in euros, pounds, yen, or renminbi, reflecting a recalibrated capital strategy appropriate for a truly multinational enterprise. This global shift in financial orientation will be accompanied by equally significant changes in corporate governance. Amazon's board of directors, traditionally grounded in U.S. legal frameworks, is expected to expand to include experts with deep knowledge of stakeholder engagement. Will also evolve as Amazon reconciles the expectations of institutional new audit committees will be tasked with overseeing cross-border tax strategy, private equity, and navigating varying regional standards Asia for environmental, East, social, and shareholder meetings ESG, may rotate between continents, symbolizing Amazon's commitment to a global constituency. Labor relations emerge as another key frontier. While Amazon has faced unionization efforts and labor advocacy in the U.S., its international expansion introduces a mosaic of labor laws, ranging from mandatory profit-sharing schemes and formal worker councils to more flexible employment arrangements. Amazon's human resources leadership will need to develop compensation and benefit structures that are competitive locally yet consistent with the company's global values. Training programs must be linguistically translated and culturally tailored, while leadership development pipelines will be redesigned to foster talent within diverse regional contexts. In the realm of sustainability, Amazon's migration brings both opportunities and challenges. The environmental implications of reshaping global shipping networks depend heavily on execution. Reconfigured distribution flows could either reduce or worsen carbon emissions. Amazon has pledged to deploy electric delivery vehicles and invest in renewable energy for its fulfillment centers. Yet realizing these goals in developing markets with nascent infrastructure will require strategic partnerships with local utilities and electric vehicle manufacturers. Negotiations around renewable energy credits and carbon offset programs must be customized for each country to align with both Amazon's Shipment Zero goals and the climate commitments of host nations under the Paris Agreement. Marketing strategies will also undergo transformation to resonate with new customer bases. Although Amazon is a globally recognized brand, consumer behavior varies widely by culture. The marketing team will need to recalibrate its messaging to align with regional norms, localizing language and visuals, aligning with cultural shopping habits, and adjusting promotional calendars. Machine learning algorithms that drive product recommendations will be retrained to reflect regional tastes and buying patterns. Loyalty programs may evolve into localized formats, offering rewards through partnerships with regional retailers or sponsorship of cultural events, thereby deepening customer engagement in new territories. Meanwhile, the competitive landscape is shifting. E-commerce giants based in Europe and Asia will view Amazon's move as both an opportunity and a challenge. In regions where Amazon strengthens its presence, competitors may be pushed to innovate, offering faster deliveries, curated niche products, or immersive retail experiences to differentiate themselves. Conversely, in the U.S., emerging domestic platforms may seize the moment to expand, filling the vacuum left by Amazon's reduced presence. These rivals may accelerate collaborations with third-party logistics providers and adopt new omni-channel models to attract customers seeking alternatives. Investors, corporate analysts, and economic forecasters will adopt a dual-lens approach when assessing Amazon's future performance. closely tracking financial metrics of its legacy U.S. operations alongside the growth indicators emerging from its new international hubs. Quarterly earnings reports may begin to feature segmented disclosures, breaking down revenue and operating margins by region. Wall Street analysts will scrutinize data points such as fulfillment cost per parcel, growth in international Prime subscriptions, and cross-border versus domestic sales ratios. Equity research teams will revise valuation models to account for geopolitical risk premiums, the learning curves associated with entering new markets, and the capital expenditures required to build or retrofit infrastructure abroad. Bodies such as educational institutions are also poised to benefit from Amazon's migration. Universities near the company's new headquarters anticipate a surge in research funding, internship opportunities, and collaborative laboratories focused on cutting-edge fields like robotics, artificial intelligence, and supply chain analytics. Faculty recruitment efforts may intensify as Amazon seeks to forge strong academic partnerships to fuel innovation pipelines. Doctoral candidates and postdoctoral researchers, granted access to Amazon's vast data and technological resources, could significantly accelerate breakthroughs in machine learning and logistics automation, creating a virtuous cycle of talent development and corporate R&D. Simultaneously, the legal profession will find itself at the forefront of shaping Amazon's international expansion. Trade lawyers, corporate tax specialists, and antitrust experts will navigate the complexities of global regulation, laying the legal foundation for corporate formation, compliance with emerging e-commerce laws, and mitigation of market dominance, concerns in jurisdictions where competition authorities maintain strict oversight. Amazon's legal teams must prepare to defend the company against potential investigations while adapting business practices to uphold fair trade principles. Intellectual property portfolios will be customized for each region to ensure patents, trademarks, and licensing agreements effectively protect proprietary technologies and branding across global markets. From a technological standpoint, Amazon's move is set to catalyze new advancements in robotics, artificial intelligence, and edge computing. The company's robotics teams, which pioneered automated picking and packing solutions in the U.S., will now adapt systems to accommodate different warehouse sizes, labor markets, and climate conditions. In areas where electricity is unreliable or connectivity is inconsistent, edge computing will become vital, empowering on-site processors to maintain warehouse operations autonomously and sync with central servers when bandwidth permits. These innovations not only bolster Amazon's resilience, but also offer technological spillovers for other industries to adopt. Community engagement initiatives will also evolve as Amazon transitions its global footprint. In the U.S., the company has been an active supporter of educational programs, community grants, and workforce development efforts. Overseas, Amazon's philanthropic strategies will be recalibrated to align with local needs, such as digital literacy campaigns, environmental conservation efforts, and vocational training. Corporate social responsibility teams will collaborate with NGOs and civic organizations to ensure community investments are contextually meaningful and culturally relevant. These efforts not only fulfill altruistic goals, but also cultivate goodwill among stakeholders in Amazon's new host regions. Supply chain transparency and ethical sourcing will take on renewed significance as Amazon expands internationally. Modern consumers increasingly demand accountability in product origins and manufacturing conditions, with concerns spanning labor practices, environmental impact, and sustainability. Amazon will work to harmonize procurement standards globally while accommodating regional certification schemes, such as Fair Trade, Rainforest Alliance, or locally recognized eco-labels. The use of blockchain and traceability technologies may be expanded to offer end-to-end visibility for high-priority product lines, reinforcing consumer trust and brand integrity. Within the realm of employee experience, Amazon's relocation prompts deeper reflection on work models and cultural integration. While the company's digital-first approach has enabled effective remote collaboration during global disruptions, the establishment of new physical hubs introduces a new dimension. Amazon's relocation brings with a recalibrated approach to hybrid work policies and workplace design. Facilities teams are tasked with creating office and fulfillment spaces that reflect a blend of Amazon's core leadership principles and the cultural norms of its new locations. These spaces will feature communal areas, innovation labs, and modular workstations designed to support varied styles of collaboration. Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, DEI, programs will be customized to the demographic realities of each region, ensuring that Amazon's workforce is both representative of and respectful toward the communities it now serves. Marketing and public relations strategies must also navigate the emotional and symbolic weight of relocating the corporate flagship. Communities in Seattle and Arlington are mourning the departure of one of their most influential employers, while the new host country celebrates the move as a signal of economic validation and opportunity. Amazon's communication strategy will seek to strike a balance between empathy and excitement, acknowledging the sentiments of U.S.-based employees and stakeholders while clearly articulating the strategic rationale behind the move and the long-term benefits for customers and shareholders. This narrative will be conveyed through town halls, press briefings, and digital outreach campaigns that emphasize Amazon's enduring commitment to customer-centric innovation. The shift also accelerates the development of global innovation ecosystems. Regions that host Amazon's new headquarters will likely experience a surge in tech cluster activity, with startup incubators benefiting from the company's mentorship, venture capital interest intensifying due to proximity to top talent, and university spin-offs scaling more quickly through corporate collaboration. In contrast, markets losing Amazon's direct presence may invest in revitalization strategies, cultivating homegrown tech enterprises, and diversify into complementary industries, such as clean energy and biotechnology. Geopolitically, Amazon's relocation is more than just a corporate decision. It's a significant event in international relations. Host governments not only gain financial investment, but also diplomatic influence, positioning themselves as vital players in the global digital economy. Meanwhile, the U.S. must confront the diplomatic and economic implications of a shifting corporate landscape. This may prompt a reevaluation of trade policies and the creation of new frameworks aimed at retaining multinational corporate participation. All of these developments are unfolding amid rapidly evolving consumer expectations. Customers around the world now demand faster delivery, seamless digital experiences, and transparent, ethical business practices. Amazon's ability to leverage its technological capabilities within a more globally diversified operational framework will be crucial to maintaining customer loyalty. Innovative initiatives, such as drone-based last-mile delivery and AI-driven personalization, will be piloted in the new host markets and, if successful, scaled globally. Such advancements could solidify Amazon's position as a global industry leader, even as it navigates the challenges of operating across multiple jurisdictions. Beyond logistics and market strategy, Amazon's move also necessitates a rethinking of its cybersecurity posture. As data centers and networks expand into new regions, the company must strengthen its defenses against localized cyber threats and meet varying national standards for infrastructure resilience. To that end, Amazon will engage in joint cybersecurity exercises with local agencies and participate in international security consortiums to ensure customer data remains protected and services remain uninterrupted. Customer service models will similarly evolve to meet the demands of a broader, more diverse clientele. New call centers will be established in multiple time zones, staffed by representatives fluent in local languages and trained to manage cultural nuances in conflict resolution. AI-powered chatbots, once primarily designed for English-speaking users, will be enhanced with multilingual natural language processing capabilities to provide swift, empathetic support to a global customer base. These efforts reflect Amazon's anticipation of future technological breakthroughs and its ongoing commitment to operational excellence across borders. Amazon is set to deepen its investment in emerging technologies such as quantum computing and blockchain logistics. Through research partnerships with innovation institutes in its new host countries, the company aims to fast-track proof-of-concept trials, positioning itself at the forefront of next-generation computing and decentralized supply chain tracking. These collaborations not only fuel the development of enhanced products and services, but also help nurture scientific talent pipelines essential for sustaining long-term competitiveness. In tandem with its technological ambitions, Amazon's philanthropic arm will undergo a strategic evolution. The company's foundation plans to recalibrate its grant-making priorities to tackle global challenges that are magnified by its international expansion. Initiatives will focus on promoting digital inclusion, supporting cross-border educational exchanges, and advancing health equity in underserved communities. By aligning its social impact efforts